Right, it's time for court today, and Murtala Inusah joins me in the studio. Murtala, good morning.
Good morning, Zawa. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
I
What's
like.
up?
I'm good. I like your outfit. This
Thank
black
you.
outfit is always good.
Thank you. I tend to wear a lot of black
I
lately.
know, right? When you are in black, when you are in red, right? I think red is your favorite color.
Well, now I'm unable to really tell, Yes, I love
Anything.
red, but I haven't worn a lot of red in the last,
Yeah.
years, in the last 2 years or so. So I've been wearing a lot of black.
The one thing about Sawa, anything you put on, Charlie.
That's the thing. Thank you, thank you,
Yes,
thank
yes,
you.
yes.
What's up? What have you got?
Yes, so this morning I've got a few things to discuss with you, starting from Friday. And Friday was a big day for Gregory Afoko because he, for the first time in nearly 10 years, and in fact, May 21 will be exactly 10 years when he was arrested. Ever since, he's not been able to get bail. And on the 21st of February, Justice Marie Louise Simon admitted him to bail. 500,000 Ghana cedis, 2 sureties, one to be justified, and all of that. Or last week, a week later, and that was last week, Friday, he was able to meet his bail conditions, signed them, and as we speak, Afoko has been released temporarily pending the retrial. Note, first trial started in 2016, truncated in 2019 because the second accused person, Yasabki Alangde, was arrested. The second trial started in 2019, 2023, April 27, then the jury returned a controversial decision. Controversial not in respect of Afoko, but because they got Afoko 4-3 for conspiracy and murder. But with respect to the other accused person, Yasabki Alangde, the jury returned a unanimous verdict of guilt in relation to conspiracy. So who did he conspire? One person cannot be charged with conspiracy. Afoko had 4-3 for conspiracy, meaning he did not commit the offense. And per the law, that means that it's an inconclusive verdict. So they have to go for a retrial for Afoko and Asabke. For murder, the substantive offense, both of them had 4-3 verdicts. So it means they have to come back. And the retrial has already started, with prosecution expected to call their 6th witness. They intended to rely on all the 16 witnesses they called previously and all of that. But on Friday, Afoko was able to satisfy all his, you can see on your screen over there, Afoko interacting with Nanaya Ose, one of the legal, in fact, the spokesperson of the family, and then Mr. Paul Afoko behind him to give me a moral support. It was a very exciting moment for him and all of that. So on Friday, I caught up with him moments after he was admitted to bail. Let's hear from Afoko. Gregory,
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Today you are going home.
Yes.
What would you tell Ghanaians?
Oh, I will only say we should have love for one another and we shouldn't be wicked to one another.
Okay. Now you are going home.
Yes.
How does it feel today?
Oh, great.
It feels great.
Great.
For you?
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
All right. So that is Gregory Afoko. So that is Gregory Afoko over there. We should learn to show love to one another, and we should not be wicked to one another. So those were his first few words, moments after executing all his bail conditions. And now, tomorrow, on the 5th of March, he'll make an appearance. That will be the first time that he'll be making an appearance in court on bail. As the trial continues, prosecution will be calling their 6th witness. And the court, presided over by Justice Marie Louise Simmons, will see that prosecutions or the prosecutors in the matter.
You look at him like a
Yes.
little child, who has. I mean,
It tells you the moment for him.
Yeah.
Yes, it tells you the moment from there. In fact, he had a kind of relationship with his senior brother, Mr. Paul Afoko.
Yeah.
And from that moment, you realize that Afoko has missed this type of family reunion for a very long time and all of that. He was happy at a point in time. He was shedding tears, and a moment later. So this was when they had to go and take some passport pictures just opposite the law court complex to make sure that they execute all the bail conditions over there. And in fact, they almost made the deadline. The court closes at 4. So they got there 3:45 thereabouts. But the registrar of the court had to grant them that opportunity, and we have to stay after 5 to ensure that he's able to meet all his bail conditions there and all of that. It was fun. He couldn't even have a way to even celebrate it with the family and all of that. But his brother, Mr. Afoko, was there with him, as well as Nanaya Ose, and some of his sureties together. So 2 sureties, Mr. Afoko is one of them, and then one other family member and all of that. So as you can see, he was so excited to be part or to be joining the family for the first time in almost 10 years. How relieved he will be, or he is at the moment. And the interview that I had with him tells you all that.
I can't understand why Gregory Afoko never got bail. You know, why he never made bail. Because we have on this show discussed in detail.
Absolutely.
You know, the conditions. We know that, yes, every offense is bailable, but it's in the, as at the discretion of the court, or the judge. And we have even gone ahead to list the circumstances under which a judge will refuse to grant bail. I don't know where Gregory falls in all those circumstances that we discussed.
It's a very sensitive matter, because if you put this particular bail, what I do remember, in the early stages before committal, the lawyers tried for bail, it didn't work.
Yeah.
When he was, in fact, charged for murder officially, and the first trial ended in 2019. That was when Justice GHOne granted him bail. And then moments later, when the second trial began, the trial judge at the time, in fact, the first trial was conducted by the popular LL Mensah, Justice Lawrence Lazagla Mensah, is the Justice of the Court of Appeal, retired. Then Justice Efua Meliwood, also a Justice of the Court of Appeal, took over. And in fact, she has also retired. She revoked the bail granted by Justice GHOne because the trial has started, and he felt that this is a new matter altogether. After April 27, when the jury returned the verdict, he went to the High Court again. He was denied. Went to the Human Rights Court again for a repeat bail. It was denied. Then this time, so at least 5 bail applications were moved for Afoko. And one of the issues that prosecution had always advanced is that conditions in the north, Bolgatanga, was not conducive because of the atmosphere, and because it's a political matter. Should he grant him bail, somebody probably would have done something to him. It's one of the things that the court also look at. Does he have a fixed place of abode? One of the conditions that you have to look at as a judge. Certainly, Afoko of his nature will have. And all of persons with substantial means to stand as surety for him, of course, you know Mr. Afoko and his worth. So definitely, those were not in doubt. But for what it is, nobody can really tell. But finally, he'll be happy that nearly 10 years, there were certain activities to decongest the prison. Justice for All has always come. It's one of the 2, as it were, allow remand prisoners. Some have been in custody for years. Some even to the extent that the punishment or the offenses they were charged, if they were dealt with, convicted, and sentenced, probably they would have dealt with it a long time ago, but they were still landing in custody or on remand. So some of these systems will have to be in the way. It's only the prisons that there's always space for admission. Other institutions, you don't have, they tell you it is full and all that. But for Afoko, he will be a man with great relief there after he's satisfied all the bail conditions. On Friday.
Congratulations to him and his family. So, look at how clingy he is to his brother, you know. It was. I can only imagine. But anyway, let's move on. Yes, what else have you got?
So he was arrested when he was 54. So now he's 64, approximately 64 years. It's on retirement. So, but that's one of the things that you don't wish for, even your worst enemy, to have issues with the law and be languishing in lawful custody of a sort. The conditions in our prisons are not one that you wish for a human being to be in there, but it is what it is. So, that's one of the things that came up on Friday. Then, the Albert Kandapa's defamation suit against Oliver Barker-Vormawor. That case is still before Justice Joseph Edu Owusu-Agyemang. And on Friday, the matter was held. The business for the day was for lawyers of Oliver Barker-Vormawor to subject the former National Security Minister to further cross-examination because he has already told his story and all of that. On Friday, Oliver was not present in court. He sent somebody to come and inform the court that he's unwell. On top of that, he indicated to the court that his lawyer, Dr. Jaswai, has been nominated by the president to serve as the deputy attorney general. So now he's lost his lawyer and he's pleading to the court to allow him time to be able to get a new lawyer. Lawyers of Albert Kandapa had an issue with his request that he was unwell. They said, look, if you are not well, you have to show proof to the court why you are not well. That aside, the issue about his lawyer has been appointed as the deputy attorney general. He makes the point that yes, it's public knowledge, and between 5th when the announcement was made to now, it's enough time for him to have looked for another lawyer. The court said, let's take a date. Yes, it is not his fault that the state has taken his lawyer away from him, and for that matter, he needs to get time. But the court is saying as soon as possible, Oliver Barker should get a new lawyer so that February 28th, in fact, March 28th, they are back in court. Initially, the lawyers of Kandapa wanted the court to discharge Albert Kandapa in the witness board because they felt the Oliver Barker was not ready to continue, so the court should discharge him. And they even were seeking for a cost, but the court said that cannot happen because it's not Oliver's fault for him to lose his lawyer. So on March 28th, the case will be back in court and all that. So these were the things that happened. And today, so guess what is happening? James Gyakye is back in court. And James Gyakye today is a very big day for him because Justice Mary Mami Ikwe-Yenzu will be making a determination as to whether there's a prima facie evidence for him to respond to charges or not. So submission of no case. State has closed their evidence. They called 6 witnesses, and today Justice Mary Mami Ikwe-Yenzu will be making a determination as to whether there's a case for him to answer. If the court finds that there's no case for him to answer, that ends the case. He will be discharged. But if the court feels that there's a case for him to answer, then he will be called upon to mount the witness box and testify. And for the hope of Mr. James Gyakye, who is a member of parliament for Asin North, he'll be hoping that the court will discharge him because state probably would not have made any case. And that was the argument by his lawyers led by the Venerable Chachu Chikata. So that's one of the cases that we should expect today from court. And today, so you're having a date with 2 justices of the Court of Appeal. Jury reforms, jury system in Ghana. And if the director can show us the artwork. In fact, it's one of the things that we have spoken so many times on this platform, how the jury system has delayed cases, how they can hold cases to ransom and all of that. I remember the Kaswa Ritual Murder case. For about 4 to 5 times, the case had to be adjourned just before, because the court was only sitting to sum up the trial and deliver their verdict. They were on strike. They didn't come. So for 3-4 times, the case had to be adjourned. The family had issues. This Afoko case, so many times it had to be adjourned because one juror was absent, the other is unwell, the other person is involved in another case somewhere. So many challenges. And today, you'll be sitting with Justice Ifeasewa Saribotri, a justice of the Court of Appeal, and Justice Lydia Osema, one of the justices who have dealt with so many of the jury system. You can talk about the Kaswa Ritual Murder I have mentioned, the J.B. Dankwa Edu case, Sexy Dondon. She's the one that handled all of that. So these are the people that you'll be sitting with today. So stay tuned with that as we monitor the new jury reform, the initiative that, and this is part of the leading justice initiative launched by the Chief Justice in recent times. So
you know, I'm looking forward to it. Yesterday, I asked the question on Twitter on whether people were willing to serve as jurors or jurymen or jurywomen.
Absolutely.
And very interesting responses. And so I think this is a very good thing. You know, you never really hear judges speak.
Absolutely.
And outside the courtroom. So it's really good that they are embarking on this exercise, you know, to sensitize and educate the public Because, you know, one of the comments that I saw, and I would have them projected when they come in here so they can respond to some of them. Someone said, what are the jobs of the judges? Why should I come and decide for someone? You know, someone also said that I'm a sinner. Why should I judge someone? It's very interesting.
Those are the lines. So
you know, very interesting comments
the
there.
framers of the law and then our laws, in fact, they actually looked at situation. For instance, an offense like murder, those days it was death penalty.
Yes, so, you know, I think that when they even come in, we would have to give some background about the jury system and how we even got there. You know that where we got it from, which is England. So they had the Star Chamber, where it was just a judge sitting and deciding the fate of an accused person, right? Then they said, no, let's rather get people in the community, because when someone commits an offense, the people in the community
can assess
the situation based on their level and make a fair judgment. The key word is fair, on why the person did what they did and whether they are guilty based on all the facts that have been presented to them. And, you know, I understand the difficulty in people putting themselves up as jurymen or jurywomen, but it shouldn't be so.
Yes.
However, one of the key problems that I think is attributing to they not getting many people is the exemptions.
Absolutely.
It's just too many. I mean, we know of the president, sorry, before you come in. The president, ministers, those are different. But they're so, I can understand why lawyers cannot be jurors because of the understanding of the law. But pharmacists, doctors, see, I don't know why all those people cannot be jurors.
I think that's why this reform is very, very necessary, because it looks like at the time that this system was adopted, the number of people in the system were not as many as we have now. And if you look at the kind of system that we also practice here, it's a very dangerous one because of what has happened for some time now. In our system now, you see the jurors after cases all over. So all over. They are all over. So you can have interaction with anybody without any limitation of a sort. Even though the law is saying that you do not have to share or you do not have to listen to anything outside the courtroom. Even immediately you open the door and you come out of the courtroom, whatever you hear or see over there is not part of whatever evidence. But we live with them in a society. We do whatever we do with them and all of that. So that is where I think that this jury system, this initiative, or these reforms are very, very necessary. And like you mentioned, bring people from the community. Each and every individual, wherever you grew up from, has an impact on you. Where you grew up from, where you come from, the kind of thing. So you need to understand people from who they are and where they grew up from. It's also one of the key things. And I'm sure that when you sit with these noble justices, a lot more will come up, and our viewers will today be enlightened. I had a lot of people asking me who had cases that are indictable, who require the services of jurors. In fact, some of them have had their cases adjourned because they were not jurors to be empaneled. They were asking questions that I asked them, watch Sewa and the justices when they appear at 9 o'clock a.m. You have all the answers in there. So we look forward to that particular discussion and engagement with Justice Ifya Sewa Saribuchi and Justice Lydia Osema, for both of them justices of the Court of Appeal.
I really like Justice Ifya Sewa. She's a tough woman, you know, and I spoke with her sometime last year, and you know, he said we have the same name. I hope that you.
Sewa meets Sewa. So Sewa will meet Sewa today.
You know. Anyway, so you don't want to miss that conversation. That's essentially what we are telling you. Murtala, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sewa.
Thank you very much. Is there any more thing that you have? That's all you have for us. Okay.
Today.
God willing, tomorrow we shall meet again and know what came out of court today.